Something very interesting happened in chapter 1098 of One Piece. Despite the very grim subject matter of 1098, we finally get some context about a particular object that has been with Kuma since his first introduction. That being the Bible that he carries. In chapter 1098, when Bonnie is 5, she comes across the Bible that Kuma carries. And the conversation goes like this. Kuma asks Bonnie if she were to go on a trip, where she'd like to go. And then Bonnie says, "Oh, I know. Have you heard about the legendary Sky Islands?" Kuma, astonished, says, "There are islands way up in the air?" Then Bonnie comes back and says, "That's right. I read about it in this book." The book in which she read about it is the Bible that Kuma will carry for the rest of the series, except when he doesn't, which we're not talking about that. But still, the fact that this is the first time the context of the Bible are divulged is very interesting. And we know that it's his Bible because in another shot where the two are talking about Nika and it being possible to perhaps meet Nika if they were to go to Sky Island, we see the back of the Bible, and the back of the Bible is bearing Kuma's reticle that he has on his tracksuit. So we know that this is the same Bible that he carries all the time, because that Bible also bears the reticle on its back cover. So here's what I'm thinking. The Bible is either an ode to Nika, and it's very interesting that we see the back cover, but not the front cover. That's also a very interesting tidbit. So this Bible could indeed just be a Bible to Nika. We don't know where Kuma got this Bible from, which is also very interesting. But seeing as how it's in a church and the church has a crucifix with a sun motif, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the church could have some association with Nika. It's a possibility. Bit of a stretch, but it's a possibility. So this Bible could be an ode to Nika, and maybe somewhere in a passage about Nika, it mentions the Sky Island. Or this is the original Dough Fruit Encyclopedia, or a copy of it, and somewhere in the fruit descriptions, they mention perhaps a last seen location of a fruit, which happens to be in a Sky Island. But both of those sort of trains of thought are very interesting. I'm kind of torn on which one I'm going with. Occam's Razor suggests that this is a book about Nika in some context, seeing as how it just fits the bill of what we've been talking about so far. Kuma being a pastor in a church, Kuma having Nika as his chosen deity, etc., etc. So it just makes sense for this book to have something to do with Nika. Don't know what Nika has to do with the Sky Islands, because I don't think a sun deity is mentioned during the events of Skypiea. I don't even think he's mentioned in that flashback. But we do see the pose being struck by Usopp during Skypiea. So, yeah, I don't know. Could be a reference to that. But give me your thoughts.